Did you know that Duke Medical School rejects students with 524 MCATs while it accepts students with 515 MCATs? Hey, what's up everyone? I'm Dr. Rizz from Cracking Med School Admissions. I went to Princeton, Stanford Med, and did my residency at Harvard. If you can't explain why Duke would choose a lower stat student over a perfect one, well, you're really missing the biggest secret about getting into Duke Medical School. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what Duke really wants, how to position yourself as its ideal candidate, and the 3 strategic moves that separate accepted students from rejected ones, even when the accepted students' stats are lower. These strategies have helped my students get into Duke year after year, including students who thought they really didn't have a chance. So, what's the secret that most pre-meds completely miss about Duke? The leadership obsession that defines everything. Let me tell you about Maria, one of my students who got accepted recently. Her MCAT was a 518. That's great, but not super spectacular for Duke. So, what made her different? Maria noticed something at her university health center. Students with mental health crises were waiting 3 weeks for appointments, and some even had to go to the emergency department instead. Maria didn't complain. She basically changed the process at her university. She researched peer counseling models, got trained in crisis intervention, and then she proposed a student-led mental health hotline. After a lot of meetings with university administrators, Maria finally got the support and approval for the student-led mental health hotline. Maria recruited 20 volunteers. She partnered with counseling services and created even a same-day support system for students in crisis. Within 6 months, student satisfaction at the university soared, and mental health services increased dramatically. What's more, several students were calling the university's mental health hotline every single day. What a success! Isn't that cool? The program is still running even after she left the university, and 2 local colleges are looking to start similar programs because of its success. Here's what's brilliant about Maria's approach and why Duke loved it. She didn't just identify a problem, she built a solution. She didn't just help a few people, she created a system that helps thousands of students. She didn't just volunteer, she led. And that's exactly what Duke means when it talks about leadership. Duke wants students who see broken systems and fixes them, especially through new, creative approaches. Duke Med School wants future physicians who will transform healthcare delivery, creating new models of care instead of accepting the status quo. The Flex Year Strategy. Here's something that separates Duke from every other medical school. It has something called the Flexibility Year, a whole year where students can do anything they want. These are activities that Duke Med students have actually pursued during this Flex Year. They pursued an MBA, research, entrepreneurship, unique master's programs, policy work, or global health. Literally, you could do whatever you want. And about 40% of Duke students graduate with dual degrees. Duke attracts students who think bigger than just becoming doctors. Let me give you an example of how to use your Flex Year. Jake was fascinated by emergency medicine and frustrated by how reactive it was. Being creative and solutions-oriented, Jake developed a predictive algorithm using social media data to identify communities at risk for disease outbreaks. Jake partnered with computer science students at Duke to build machine learning models that analyze Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook posts for systems reporting patterns. Duke loves projects like this because it really shows innovative thinking applied to healthcare challenges. Jake wasn't just interested in treating patients, he was interested in preventing them from becoming patients in the first place. And Jake was thinking about new, innovative ways to improve healthcare. So, how should you show Duke that you're this type of innovative thinker? First, identify problems in healthcare that truly frustrate you. I mean, specific solvable problems. For example, maybe diabetic patients keep getting readmitted because they can't afford medications, and that really makes you sad. Maybe elderly patients fall because their homes aren't safe, or Maybe medical students burn out because they have no mental health support. Second, develop actual solutions. Don't just write about problems in your essays. Show Duke and other medical schools what you've already done to address these problems. Create programs, build systems, design interventions, conduct research. Basically, take action. Third, measure your impact. Duke wants to see results. How many people did you help? What changed because of your work? What systems improved? Write all of that down. Now, how do you show this on your actual Duke medical school application? Write about the problems that you want to solve and the solutions that you want to pursue during your flex year at Duke. Literally, write the problem, think about your innovative solution, and write how you will accomplish this innovative solution at Duke. The Research Triangle Advantage. Now, let me tell you about Duke's awesome surroundings. Duke sits in the Research Triangle Park, or RTP for short, the super large research park with over 300 biotech and pharmaceutical companies. This creates incredible opportunities for students. Students have biotech innovation at their fingertips. Duke has massive research facilities at RTP, where students work alongside scientists developing vaccines, gene therapies, and breakthrough treatments. And here's what's interesting. Most applicants write generic essays about wanting to do research. Smart applicants research specific companies, specific innovations, specific faculty at Duke. And then they connect their interests with these specific opportunities. I'll give you an example. One student I worked with was interested in pediatric oncology. Instead of writing generically about wanting to help kids with cancer, she researched Duke's partnerships with biotech companies developing CAR T-cell therapies. She reached out to faculty, learned about their research projects, and she specifically wrote on her Duke Medical School application about how she wanted to contribute to developing the next generation of immunotherapies. She wowed admissions officers, and that application turned into a Duke interview invite. So, how do you leverage the Research Triangle in your application? Again, research and look up specific faculty whose work align with your interests. Don't just read their publications and get a deep understanding on their current projects. Learn about their collaborations and their goals too. Finally, reach out to those faculty members with really thoughtful questions. Show genuine interest in contributing to their work. Connect your past experiences to future opportunities at Duke. If you've identified healthcare problems, show how Duke's resources could help you develop solutions. Be specific about why Duke's location matters for your goals. What companies, what technologies, and what collaborations excite you the most. Show the Duke Medical School Admissions Committee you understand the unique ecosystem it's part of. The Duke Medical School secondary application strategy that actually works. Okay, you got to know this if you're pre-med. Duke's secondary is like legendary. There are 8 to 10 essays the length of an entire personal statement, and it's one of the longest secondaries in the country. Most students see this as torture. Smart students see this as a huge opportunity in medical school admissions. Those 8 to 10 essays aren't just random questions. They're testing specific competencies Duke values. Values like your personal narrative and background, advocacy, resilience, leadership, creative and innovative thinking, health equity, and of course, why you're a great fit for Duke. Duke wants to see your vision to change healthcare across multiple essays, not just one. The Moments to Movement essay is important. This connects to Duke's anti-racism initiative launched in 2020. Duke wants specific actions you've taken to address healthcare disparities or systemic inequities. One student I worked with wrote about working with incarcerated youth and discovering that a large percentage had undiagnosed learning disabilities. Instead of just tutoring these individuals, she researched the connection between learning disabilities and juvenile incarceration. Now that's super innovative research. Next, this applicant developed screening protocols and advocacy training for public defenders. Her work influenced policy changes in her state's juvenile justice system. That's moments to movement thinking. identifying systemic problems and building systemic solutions. In Duke's leadership essay, I recommend students to give specific examples of measurable impact. Instead of just listing leadership titles, describe situations where you influence change, solve complex problems, or mobilize others towards shared goals. Duke values collaborative leadership over autocratic approaches. Next, the critical thinking essay should demonstrate how you approach the unknowns, adapt when methods don't really work, and draw meaningful conclusions from complex data. Show Duke how your brain works when everything goes wrong and doesn't seem to work. That's how you stand out at Duke Medical School. The stats reality check. Okay, let's talk numbers, because I know you're wondering about them. Duke's median MCAT hovers around 520 each year, and the median GPA is also around 3.92. Okay, no joke, but these are high numbers. So, should you still apply if you have a much lower GPA and a much lower MCAT score? My answer is definitely yes. Like, really, definitely apply. I've helped a lot of students with much lower GPAs than the medians. But okay, don't take my word for it. Why should you apply? Duke evaluates holistically. The admissions committee takes calculated risk on students with lower stats who have compelling stories, especially if that student shows a lot of leadership and innovation. I've seen students with 518 MCATs get accepted because they had fascinating research, impressive leadership, and a clear vision for advancing healthcare. I've also seen students with 523 and 524 MCATs get rejected or not even interviewed because they seem like generic high achievers without specific leadership or innovation potential. Duke can afford to be picky, and it's looking for different qualities rather than just pure academic excellence. Duke wants students who will use all of Duke's resources and partnerships to innovate in healthcare. The Duke interview strategy. Duke's multiple mini interview has 8 to 10 stations testing empathy, communication, teamwork, ethical reasoning, and cultural competence. Duke's MMI scenarios are based on real challenges their students face. During interview day, you might be presented with a scenario where team members disagree about an approach to an assignment. You might get asked to explain a complex health policy issue Americans are facing, like the opioid epidemic. Duke wants to see how you think through complex problems, build consensus, and communicate effectively under pressure. So here's my specific advice to help you succeed. If you receive a Duke interview invite, well, first off, you have to invest in the Mastering the Multiple Mini Interview course that I created. The link is in the description. Now, second, you have to practice current events, especially those affecting North Carolina communities. Duke serves populations with significant health disparities, rural areas with limited access, communities affected by the opioid crisis, and populations facing racial health inequities. Show the admissions committee that you understand these challenges and have ideas for addressing them. The final strategy. Here's how to get into Duke and other top medical schools, especially Stanford, UCSD, and Mount Sinai, who also love innovation. Getting into these schools requires showing innovation in action. Show them you're already changing healthcare. Show them that you understand how to identify problems and build solutions. Show them you're somebody who will use Duke's incredible resources to advance medicine. Don't just tell Duke and these innovative schools that you want to be a physician leader. Show the admissions committee that you already are one. So if you're a pre-med, whether you're applying this cycle or applying 4 years from now, my advice is really start now. Find a healthcare problem and develop a solution. Measure your impact. Connect your work to larger systemic issues, and position yourself as someone who thinks like Duke. Innovative, collaborative, and committed to transforming healthcare. Dr. Rishi Medarata and I have helped hundreds of students navigate competitive medical school admissions. If you want personalized guidance for your Duke Medical School application or any other medical school, check out our comprehensive application packages and secondary essay editing services. The links are all in the description.